It was early in the morning, and the sun had just come up. There was still a little bit of fog lingering in the air. People were just getting ready for the day, men, women, and children all throughout the city. And that was when they heard the thunderous hoofprints of the horses headed that way. Moments after that, they could hear the screaming of men, women, and children throughout the city. It was then when it dawned on them. God help us. Our city is under attack. You see, the ruthless, evil king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, had invaded Jerusalem. He had destroyed the city. He had taken the people, slaves, and captives back to Babylon with him. He had also invaded the temple, taken the treasures back with him as well, and put them on display in the temple that he had built to Baal, the prince of Satan, just to mock God. Well, many years had passed, and the people were finally allowed to return to Israel. They had been there for many years, but the wall that was surrounding the city had been completely torn down. And back then, it was very important to have a wall to protect your city. It protected your family and all your valuables. And without a wall, well, the people were pretty much scattered. Some of them still lived in the city, but most of them lived in the hillsides and in the cities around Jerusalem. Well, they'd been living this way for a long time. And that was when Nehemiah got word that the wall in Jerusalem was still torn down. It hurt him. It hurt him badly to find out that that wall was still down, because he knew what that meant to those people. As a matter of fact, those people, they were his people. Even though Nehemiah was a cupbearer to the king of Persia, these people in Jerusalem were his people. Oh, it hurt him deeply. He cried. He cried for a long time, and then he prayed. Oh, Lord, did he pray. He prayed for months. And then he finally got the courage to go and talk to his king and ask him if he could go rebuild the wall in Jerusalem. Well, his king asked him, how long will it take? Nehemiah gave him a time. And his king said, yeah, you need to do this. You are the perfect guy for this. You go back, rebuild that wall. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make you governor of Jerusalem. And I'm going to give you the paperwork to give you the line of credit to buy all the wood you need to do it. So Nehemiah went to Jerusalem. And the first thing he did when he got there is he rode his horse all the way around the city to survey the wall to see the damage. But the damage was so great that the Bible tells us in some places he couldn't even get by on his horse, that the rubble and the debris was piled up so big all around. His heart was heavy, but he prayed, and he stayed with the task. He organized all those people that were around, people living near the wall, people living in other cities. He got perfume makers and goldsmiths and priests and anybody that was there. He got them to help, and they all committed to a part of the wall that they would rebuild. It was a hard task, and when he got about halfway through, he had people that didn't like him, that didn't want him building that wall. He had threats against him. Then his people that were building the wall were complaining about it. It was a hard job. But do you know that they rebuilt that whole wall around Jerusalem in 52 days? It was a huge undertaking. But the thing to note here is that whole rebuilding of the wall started with prayer. It started with prayer, and then Nehemiah taking the initiative to go and rebuild the wall. Oh, he prayed. He prayed hard through the whole thing. You see, when you see something big that needs to be done, ask God for help. In Colossians 3:23, it tells us, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for humans. Initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. You can trust in God no matter what.